All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I always say I am louder about my mistakes than my victories, and this is a real good example of it. I was bullish going into tomorrow on just about all of these, and clearly not the day I was expecting, and I'm going to really just go over why, all right? And again, I think it's way more important to be loud about the mistakes. Number one, it's actually good for me, right? Like, I clearly made a mistake. I got to just pound it into my own head. The other thing is really, I think it sounds way better when other people say I do well, as opposed to like wasting minutes trying to brag about, you know, this call or that call, right? But yeah, I for sure expected good things. Really, I expected better things on CGC. And I know I talked about the doji. I know I talked about the uncertainty, but yeah, I did not expect this at all. I doubt I even said anything below 750. I'm not even sure I said anything even below 777 for all I know, right? So again, I'm here to just kind of call out the why. And hey, real quick, the answer is the Dow Jones, all right? There was some big tech earnings. I generally, and again, it's not just me, it is actually what it is, right? Like, I don't think of the Dow Jones when I think of tech, but hey, the indices move together, and I think that's really the rule I did not put enough emphasis on, all right? So, yeah, it'll be a quick one, and like I said, the goal is simply, we're here for our trading careers, right? Like, one little mistake, I'm still smiling, I'm still making videos, right? Like, we're here for trading careers. It is just a drop in the bucket over the thousands and thousands and thousands and maybe millions by the end of it, trades that you're going to make in the end of your career, right? So learn from today, don't do it again tomorrow. Oh, you will live a way better life than most people already do, all right? So before we do go any further though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here and giving me your time, oh, I am so grateful for it, all right? So, again, look, I am not here pretending I was not wrong. I was wrong yesterday, all right? I think I was especially wrong with CGC. I thought that this was going to continue. I really did. I know I talked a little bit about the high RSI, but like, no, I thought that was going to go up. SNDL didn't do horribly. I think it's easy to say that this one did a little bit better than the rest, and it was the one that I was hoping for, right? But yeah, TLRY, I think I was anticipating maybe a recovery there. For sure was not thinking we were dropping all the way down to the essentially the last moving average left, right? So what was my mistake? Again, I started the video with it. Look, the Dow Jones, let's just get to it and then I'll say what's on my mind, okay? The indices, and there are a lot of indexes out there, right? Indices is how you pluralize index. There are a lot of them out there, right? The Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ are my top 3. And it's not just my top 3, right? Those are the top ones. The Russell is an important one. You know, there are various degrees of the NASDAQ. There's a NASDAQ 100. There's a NASDAQ 500, right? Like there are indices within an index too, right? It's really complicated if you get into it. But again, there's so many things you can always trade, right? The thing that messed me up, all right, really was the fact that the 2 big after-hour earnings yesterday were tech related, and in my little simple uneducated, I'm being hard on myself, right? But like, I really thought to myself, those tech stocks won't do much on the Dow Jones. Because again, the Dow Jones is supposed to be more of your bread and butter, you know, just non-tech is actually really what it's supposed to be. These are the industrial things, right? Tech is definitely very much heavy NASDAQ, and really given the last like 20-year boom, right, of technology, even a lot of the S&P 500 is tech, right? But Dow Jones generally does not include any tech at all. And yeah, I really thought to myself, let's go to Tesla. I really thought to myself, you know what? This gap down is going to mean nothing. I thought it'd be okay. I think the Dow Jones can accept that, all right? When we look at Google, when we look at Alphabet, right? I really thought to myself, it's okay, this gap. I'm telling you, if you look on the Discord, we were ready for, I'm not going to go back, but like, we were talking about the Tesla gap down. I actually talked about Tesla falling as low as 207. I think he's right here. Yeah, 205, 207, whatever, right? I'm telling you, I was expecting these gap downs, but I almost ignorantly, I don't know what the right adjective is, I thought to myself the Dow Jones would be shielded from it, right? Like, it sounds so silly as I'm like going back through my head, right? And again, when you look at the S&P 500, SPX, that's a bigger, badder, worse candle that actually fell to an even lower moving. Like S&P 500 did worse than the Dow Jones. Again, like I said, this is tech heavy, right? When I look at NASDAQ, Comp Q, this is even worse, right? An uglier candle and even below that moving average, right? Dow Jones did better than the other two for sure, right? We gapped down, but hey, we're still over the 20. We're actually still over the 20. We're not even close to the 50 yet, right? But oof, that gap down was bad. And look, the indices should only move about 0.5%. Like, look at this day. This was a 0.04%. This is a pretty big candle right here. It was a 0.4, right? This is a little bit less than a half. This is a real big candle, and you can see that's like a 1 point something day is a very, 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 very big percent. It is, especially on these indices. You know what I mean? So that's why, and again, this is a weed video, right? But we're talking about the indices. That's why it took a 4%, and really that's not even the ugliest. It was CGC that was the ugliest. It was, and you can see it on the wick, this thing was like pushing a 12% loss, right? And I talked about this 750. I wasn't sure that these two, that one I know I can find quick, because Coleman, was it Coleman? No, it looks like it was Luke. Right here, right? We circled this line. These were two really important moving averages to lose. Clearly, once we lost it, there was bad, right? And it kind of looks like that support, give or take, is what's going to be next. And really, I'm kind of seeing this thing actually maybe even heading down here, because the real issue again is all about the Dow Jones to me. This doesn't look like it's done. I'm now just seeing the red over green on the MACD. That's a very, very high 57 that can still come down to 30. And hey, look, it wasn't actually that long ago that we were at 31, right? If you're looking at the box and I'm basically clicking at 32, like, there is still room for the Dow Jones to come down. Am I worried? Am I calling crash and this and that? Look, I'm not happy, but I'm not calling a crash. No, the 50 moving average is a strong line, all right? And yeah, I'm a little concerned seeing the S&P 500 already here and potentially losing it, but hey, this 100 moving average, let's look at the blue line. Let's look at the blue line. It's only been arguably used not at all. Maybe you can kind of say twice right here, but this entire year, we actually haven't touched it on the S&P 500. This entire year on NASDAQ, we've only hit it once, all right? And then on the Dow Jones, I think we kissed it. Yeah, Dow Jones, we've kissed it a couple times, right? But I think for now, I'm here believing that the moving averages are going to hold. I just don't know which one. If we were to lose all of them, for sure I'm going to get scared. But hey, believe me, the 50 is strong. The 100 is strong. The 200 is strong. One of these should catch it and should be a support, and you know, we'll go from there, right? I'm not pretending to have the crystal ball. The one thing to remember is, if those keep going down, so will these, all right? There's definitely some political stuff going on in the background. Kamala Harris, again, I mentioned on yesterday's video, Kamala started this. Boom, that was all her. And really, more than anything, she stopped the fall to this all-time low number, right? So in a lot of ways, there's a good amount of like maybe good in Kamala, right? But right now, I think we need a little bit more than that maybe we have right now, all right? So I think this was a good quick 9-10 minute video, give or take, right? But again, the indices are like the ocean, and these random little stocks that we buy are the little boats in that ocean. When the water is rough, when the water has big, I don't know if you watch Deadliest Catch. I love Deadliest Catch. There are days when they can't fish out there because the waves are just 20, 30, 40 feet, and you can't. What are you going to do? You're just going to stay inside. You're going to hunker down. You're going to wait for it to pass. Then you attack. Right? That's kind of the feeling that it seems like right now. All right. So I went on a little bit of a rant at the end of the day because look, there was a lot of people kind of talking about like what's the bottom and this and that. Like, should I like look? This was a really good year. Right? Like, this is just a drop in the bucket of a really good year, right? Just make your plan, attack accordingly, adjust if you're wrong, and then, pile on if you're right, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Hey, thank you so much.